Book the 4th, Recalled to the Light. Chapter 34, Kill 'em, even if they's already dead. Reader, did you not forget about our small mouse, did you? Back to the light, that's what Gregory whispered to him when he wrapped Despereaux in his napkin and placed him on the tray. And then Meg, after her conversation with Roscuro, carried the tray into the kitchen, and when she saw Cook, she shouted, "It's me, Meggery Sow, back from the deep downs." "Ah, lovely," said Cook, "and ain't we all relieved?" And Meg put the tray on the counter. At the sound of metal moving through the air as Meg brought the kitchen knife down, 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 Despereaux felt a very intense pain to his hindquarters. He leapt up and into action. Reader, he scurried. He scurried like a professional mouse. He zigged to the left, he zigged to the right. "Gore!" shouted Meg. "Missed him." "Ain't that a surprise?" said Cook, just as Despereaux scurried under a crack in the pantry door. "I got a little Miesy's tail, though," said Meg. She bent over and she picked up Despereaux's tail and held it up, proudly displaying it to Cook. "So," shouted Cook, "what good will that do us when the rest of him has disappeared into the pantry?" "I don't know," said Meg, and she braced herself as Cook advanced upon her, intending to give her a good clout to the ear. "I don't know." Chapter 35, A Knight in Shining Armor. Despereaux was pondering the reverse of that question. He was wondering not what he would do with his tail, but what he would do without it. He was sitting on a bag of flour high atop a shelf in the pantry, crying for what he had lost. The pain in his hindquarters was intense, and he wept because of it. But he also cried because he was happy. He was out of the dungeon. He had been recalled to life. His rescue had happened just in time for him to save the Princess P from the terrible fate the rat had planned for her. So Despereaux wept with joy and with pain and with gratitude. He wept with exhaustion and despair and hope. He wept with all the emotions of a young small mouse who had been sent to his death and then been delivered from it in time to save his beloved Canfield. Reader, the mouse wept, and he lay down on the sack of flour and slept. Outside the castle the sun set and the stars came out one by one, and they disappeared and gave way to the rising sun, and still Despereaux slept, and while he slept he dreamt. He dreamt of the stained glass windows and the dark of the dungeon. In Despereaux's dream the light came to life, brilliant and glorious in the shape of a knight swinging a sword. The knight fought the dark. And the dark took many shapes. First the dark was his mother, uttering phrases in French, and then the dark became his father, beating the drum. The dark was Furlough, wearing a black hood and shaking his head, no. And the dark became a huge rat, smiling a smile that was evil and sharp. "The dark," Despereaux cried, turning his head to the left. "The light," he murmured, turning his head to the right. He called out to the king. He shouted, "Who are you? Will you save me?" But the knight did not. He called out to the knight. He shouted, "Who are you? Will you save me?" But the knight did not answer him. "Tell me who you are," Despereaux shouted. The knight stopped swinging his sword. He looked at Despereaux. "You know me," he said. "No," said Despereaux, "I don't." "You do," said the knight. He slowly took off the armor off his head and revealed nothing, no one. The suit of armor was empty. "No, no, no," said Despereaux. "There is no knight in shining armor. It's all just make-believe, like happily ever after." And in his sleep, reader, the small mouse began to cry.